My name is Erica, and welcome to my channel. And this is my June wrap up, and in a really interesting turn of events. Though I recorded my wrap ups, because I typically record my wrap up to a book as I read the book, so I can like show you the cover and do the thing and whatever. Especially since in this month I read a bunch of library books, so I had to bring them back. Somehow I deleted all of that footage, so I'm just gonna run through the ones I read in the beginning of the month, and then we'll pick up from there with the. Anyway, so the first book that I completed in June was one I actually started during a readathon in May. It's actually A Wrinkle in Time, the graphic novel version of it. So Wrinkle in Time is by Madeline L'Engle, and the graphic novel was adapted by Hope Larson. I really enjoyed the story of A Wrinkle in Time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was cool. It made me really want to actually read the books. Actually, if you watched my gigantic library sale book haul, I did get the first book in the quintet, because there's actually 5 altogether in the A Wrinkle in Time. It's called the Time Quintet, is what's referred to. The story itself is really interesting. It's about a girl and her family. Her brother is weird. Her little brother is like, I don't even know, he's just like way too intelligent for his age. And she's also somebody that kind of struggles with being like the weird kid, because she gets bored because she understands how to do things pretty easily, and then like other things she just doesn't get at all. It's kind of like being like when you're, well, like for me, math makes no sense. Reading it and comprehension and anything English related, I'm there and I understand it all. But you put me in a math class and I am just thrown for a loop. That kind of thing. Like she's very intelligent, and she understands like what's expected of her and what she needs to know and things like that. And she tries her hardest and all this, but she just doesn't really fit in. Her dad has been missing for a while. Her mom is trying to kind of hold down the fort. I don't remember if she has 2 more siblings. I feel like she does. That are older. I think it is. I think there's 2 twins. I think there's 2 boys. And her mother's trying to kind of hold down the fort where her dad's gone. People are like spreading rumors that he's left her. But it turns out that like he hasn't left her. He's just, time traveling. Um, the book itself, I guess in reading things about it, was kind of groundbreaking, because it was the first book that was a science fiction book that had like a female protagonist, because Meg, who's your main character, is actually the person that's going to like just be traveling and doing those things and stuff like that. The entire story, like I said, like the actual story part of it, really interesting, really fun. I really enjoyed it. I was just intrigued to read more of it, and I actually kind of like the weird biblical references and the weird like nods to mythology in it and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And I will definitely be reading the books. I want to read A Wrinkle in Time and then see if I like that in book form as much as I read that one and then like see what happens beyond it. The graphic novel itself though, I know it was blue and white for colors. It just wasn't. It was not a good graphic novel. It just wasn't. I've seen much better ones. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the quality of it. I didn't like the pictures. I didn't like some of the stuff that they chose to like focus on, I guess. I felt like if you were adapting something for a graphic novel, there were things that could have been focused on differently, or it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't enjoy it. It's actually why I really want to read the book, because I liked the story, and I feel like if the graphic novel wasn't part of it and I was just reading the story, I would have enjoyed it much, much more. So that's the first one I read in June. Then I read 2 books by Teresa Flavin, the second and third book in the Black Oak Enigma trilogy. The second one's called The Crimson Shard, and the third one's called The Shadow Lantern. I absolutely love these books. They're middle grade books, and they're, I think they're middle grade. I feel like they're middle grade. Middle grade to like almost young adult, I guess. The story is based on Black Hope Enigma is based on these 2 kids that are both artistic, really, really, really talented artistic wise. One of them is kind of the new kid. He's from America, and the other one was the like best painter in class. And then this boy came along and ruined it for her. So they're both working on a project, and they go to Black Hope Tower, and they're working on a project about this painter. I all of a sudden forgot his name. Corvo, Fausto Corvo, I think that's his name. Who had all these like legends about him and stuff. So they're doing a project on that. And in the midst of them doing a project, they stumble upon a labyrinth that takes them into the painting, and they get trapped in the painting. Personally, I think that's the coolest idea for a book anyway, and the fact that she made 3 out of it was pretty awesome. The first book deals with them being stuck in this painting in Black Hope Tower. The second one deals with them actually being pulled through time, which was kind of interesting. Instead of just being stuck in a painting, they're actually stuck in a whole different time period. And the last one was another of Fausto Corvo's creations, and how they have to transport themselves into it in order to basically save the day. It's really fun. It just is. It's really fun. They're fast reads. I really like the characters and such. The only negative that I have about it at all is that I think that the romance that develops between Sunny, our main female character, and Blaze, the main male character, is unneeded. I think that they could have just been friends. I think that there was no reason why they had to, at like 13, 14 years old, just like fall for each other. They could have just been friends that bonded over this really crazy thing that happened to them. I didn't think it's necessary. And during the first book, it was kind of more they were a little bit attracted to each other. By the second book, there's a lot more focus on them being romantically involved, and by the third one, it's like definitely they want to be together. And I just felt like it took away from the fun adventure part of the story, and that, given that they're young characters anyway, it could have just sat at that they were really good friends, and that's it. I thought that was kind of unnecessary, but really good books, both of them. I enjoyed both. They were fun. I do not remember what rating I gave them. I want to say I probably gave them like a 3 or 4 out of 5. I think the last one I might have given a 3 just because of the whole romance thing, because it was just, no. And I feel like the way it ended was kind of abrupt, and it gives a notion like she might write another book, but according to the author, she's done writing them, so I don't know. But anyway, and the artwork on them, which is why I'm a little bummed that it's not here, because I don't think I have them, so I can't really show you, because I passed them on to my niece. But the artwork on the covers and stuff is beautiful. I love it, so it's really fun. So those were the next 2 I read. And then I think next was Enclave, right? Yes. And then I read Enclave by Anne Aguirre. Aguirre? I'm not sure. That's the first one in the Razorland trilogy, series, society. I don't know what it's called. I think it's Razorland. And it's a dystopian crazy pants thing. My niece, who I've mentioned before, is 13 years old, and she likes reading kind of dark, interesting, weird dystopian, kind of dystopian, whatever, books. And she told me that I needed to read Enclave because she was reading it and thought it was the craziest thing, and I had to get into it, so she let me borrow it, and I finally got to it, and I was very proud of myself for finally getting to it. And then I promptly asked her to give me the next one to read because it was good. It was really good. Now, mind you, it took me 60 pages, and I do mean 60 pages, to get into it. At page 60, I finally was like hooked, and I really wanted to read it, and I was really interested in it. But prior to that, I really thought I wasn't going to finish the book. I wasn't having it. The way that it's narrated is first person, and it's very dryly written because your main character, Deuce. See, this is why I record this early. Your main character, Deuce, she's 15. She's only ever lived in the Enclave, which is an underground society. Literally, they're underground. They're living in the New York subways, or what's left of the New York subways, after the apocalypse has happened. And they're just, she hasn't experienced anything else. So because of that, she has very limited knowledge of things that are happening and stuff, and her speech and the way that like it's written is very dry and very just it's just lacking in some kind of personality. Like, I really didn't feel anything produced until we got like halfway through the book. And then I was like, oh, I like her. I don't want her to get hurt. Oh, it took a really long time for me to be sympathetic for her. I just didn't, I don't know. It was so dry. So it did take me like 60 pages to get into it. But once I got into it, it was good. And there were so many interesting like twists and turns in it. And a lot of things I just didn't even see coming. And then there were things that like you knew were going to happen. But it was cool. And the people that she meets along the way are really interesting. And all the other characters are really cool. And I really feel like her partner, whose name has left me right now. Oh man, what is his name? I can't remember. I really can't remember his name right now. But her partner, I really just feel like is a total dreamboat and like the hottest dude ever. He's like the hottest character. Like just the whole time I was reading, I'm going, he's lovely. It's really I just really like it. It's really good. Just it's science fictiony and well, not really science fiction. It's definitely post-apocalyptic and dystopian. But it's got zombies in it. They're called freaks. It's got people that live topside, which means that they live outside of the underground. They live up in the like old abandoned buildings in New York. There's been like a crazy disease happen, which is why all these people had left the city, and the ones that are left are the ones that ended up in the enclave or whatever. There are different like sects of people, so there's like breeders and hunters, and the entire survival mode of hunting is so fascinating. There are these weird little like troll people. It's just cool. It's a really good read. I enjoyed that more than I expected to, and I do have the second book in my possession, so I can start that one because I do want to continue with this series. There's 3 books altogether. I believe that it ends on the 3rd book. I don't think there are any more. I think it's actually a trilogy. So yeah, so that one. Then I read, oh my god. Then I read Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver. Let me tell you, I cried in more than one part of that book. I am not somebody that cries with books all the time. Some of them get me. Harry Potter got me. I mean, some get me enough. And if the book makes me cry, it is always just for me. That's a good book. If it made me actually cry, I absolutely loved Vanishing Girls. It was a heavy read. It was a difficult read. But it was just so well written and so gorgeous, and it had a twist in it that I called the second it happened. I figured it out, but I was like horrified the second that I figured it out. And then I was so concerned with the characters. I really, really liked every character in this book. I was really just captivated by them. And pulled right in the world, and I read it in few days. I like started reading it knowing that I had to bring it back to the library, and I think I read it in I read it in 2 days. Probably because I had to work. Otherwise, I would have read it in like one sitting. I was so fascinated by it. The book follows 2 perspectives, 2 sisters, and it's about their relationship with each other. They're best friends, and then something happens, and they're just not really speaking anymore, and it's them working through it. It has parts of the story that are before, and parts of the story that are after, meaning before and after a horrific car accident that happens, which is actually like the part where they kind of like lose touch a little bit, and it goes into their relationship and things that happen with them. They have a best friend that they've grown up with, who's a boy that they both at one point had feelings for, and it talks about the relationship with the 3 of them as well. It has a really interesting storyline about a missing girl and somebody being abducted. That was kind of interesting. There's also the whole aspect of summer and working on summer vacation, which was very relatable for anybody that's ever worked like, through your summer vacation, that kind of thing. The girls are only like a year apart in age, so your ages are like they're like 17 years old, and I just really loved it. I really did. I thought it was really great. It's one of those books I got it from the library, and I brought it back, and I was like, that's one I have to buy. I want to own that. I want to read that again. Especially after knowing the ending, I want to read it again and see, so I have like a new perspective. It really though it shot to the heart. It was so good. I read that one. And then I read a book that I got on NetGalley. So NetGalley, if you've never used it before, is a site that's like a free service to request from publishers books for review and things like that. So it's basically like a site for reviewers. So if you have any interest in reviewing books, you can request them. Some of them are ready to like read right then, and then you don't really have to request them, but they do like if you leave some kind of review. So this one I actually just, it was a read now option. It was one that you didn't actually have to go to the publisher to request. It was already ready. And you know what? I can't even read my handwriting to tell you who the author was. It starts with Jennifer. But the title of the book is The Story of My Tits. Yep. There's 2 parts too. That's part 1. And it's a graphic novel. It's about her story of basically growing up really small-chested and being just fully obsessed with the fact that she did not have boobs and everybody else had boobs. And how she thought it was going to change her life and everything. And then when she finally got them, it was because she basically had gained weight and she quit smoking and all this kind of stuff. And then she had to deal with her no longer being skinny and being curvy instead, and that figure. And then it goes into an entire thing about cancer and dealing with cancer and some of your loved ones having cancer and being sick and things like that. There's also an entire like infidelity part in it with her parents. There's a whole tumultuous, crazy relationship that's in this. In general, I kind of enjoyed the story, and I have the second part on my shelf in NetGalley, and I'm trying to decide if I even want to read it. Part of me wants to know like what happens, and the rest of me is just kind of like it's a throwaway. I thought it was really funny. There were a lot of parts of it that were really funny, and I did like really relate to the being small-chested and being really obsessed with that and that kind of thing, because in my adolescence specifically, when everybody else went through puberty and suddenly had boobs, I went through puberty early but never got the boobs until I was in my 20s. So yeah, it happens. Some people are just smaller chested, and that's fine. And it's one of those things that never bothered me to a point that I was like, I'm going to get surgery or I'm going to do this. But at one point in my life, I actually did wear push-up bras constantly and things like that, so I understood what she was talking about. But my biggest thing was that it's a graphic novel, but it was so busy, it was actually difficult to read at times, because it would have a picture and then it would have the text like in a bubble for you to read, and then it would have more text on the sides and underneath this thing and this thing here. And it's not like it was like a graphic novel where like those kind of things happened on a full page. It was like that was one cell next to 10 others, and it was just really, really difficult to read. And I wasn't a fan of that. In general, it was okay. It wasn't great. I think I gave it 2.5 out of maybe 3 stars. It wasn't that great, unfortunately. So yeah. So that gets us up to speed with the ones that I read prior to the rest of the videos that I already had recorded. I don't know what happened. Yeah. That's what I got. The next book I finished was actually an ebook. Yay! I have so many books on my tablet that just sit there because I keep getting them from like NetGalley and BookBub, and I just collect them and I get lots of books, and then I completely forget about them because they're not physically sitting around. So anyway, I just finished one, and it's free on the Kindle on Kindle right now on Amazon for the Kindle app. So you should totally go get it if you're like me and you like the fairy tale retellings. It's fun. It's a cute read and it's fun. It's called Unenchanted. There we go. Unenchanted, An Unfortunate Fairy Tale by Shonda Hahn. It's the first in a series. There are 5 books in the series currently. I don't know if that's all of them or not. I don't know if she's still writing them. But I know there are 5 currently. The 5th one just came out this year. And it's about a girl. Her name is Mina. A girl whose name is Mina. Mina Grime. Which thinks her name is Mina Grime. No, okay. So it's about a girl named Mina who ends up being a descendant of the Grimm brothers, who obviously collected fairy tales and everything. And she has what they call a Grimm curse. And what that is that her family, like somebody in her family, is forever destined to be cursed to have to complete the actual stories from Grimm's fairy tales in order to just break the curse and then live without being followed around by these crazy things happening. It's really cute. It's set in high school. She's your typical like loner high school student. Basically, she's really she's kind of dorky. She's definitely a loner. She is klutzy. She's like constantly falling and knocking things over and just making a fool out of herself, which is very relatable. I'm totally that person. I really like, I look at something and I bruise. I'm that person. I fall down constantly. So so she does stuff like that. She's had a crush on this guy Brody for like her entire, like, since she met him like 2 years before. He's like the all around like beautiful boy in high school, and she has a total crush on him. And an entire like thing happens where she ends up saving his life. And then it goes from there, and she learns about her curse, and then she has to fight the curse and all this. She has a best friend who's hilarious. I really, really, really like the characters in this book. There are like 4 specific, actually no, there are like 6 that are, no, even more, really. There's like at least 7 characters that I'm like in love with in this book. So there's Mina, who's your lead character, who's just really cute and dorky and just having a rough time, basically. She's just a total loner, but she's so funny. And she's very like, they did 15, but not a snobby, annoying kid. Like, not like a brat. She's not a brat, but she's 15 and she's still learning a lot. Still, has moments where she has no idea what people are talking about, even though it may seem like really really clear and to an adult, you know what I mean? Like, as an adult reading it, it was like, oh, come on, girl. And then like, and even like one of the other characters, and it's like, are you really that stupid? And then it's just that she's 15. She's just learning still. I really enjoyed that part of her character as well. I think she's just like the cutest thing ever. Her best friend Nan is just the perfect example of a 15-year-old that is obsessed with social media and her cell phone and being, part of that, and awesome. And she's just a character in herself. She's very unique and fun, and she's definitely like the best. I like their bond together. I like even more the bond that she has with Mina's little brother. Mina's little brother's name is Charlie, and he does not speak. They never really have a reason as to why he doesn't speak. He just doesn't speak. But he does communicate and everything, and he's just funny. He's just funny in general. I liked him. I thought he was fun. He actually kind of reminds me of the younger brother in A Wrinkle in Time, except on the other extreme, because that one like spoke a lot and was very like overeducated, and this one is obviously very educated in the way that he communicates, but he doesn't speak. So it's just kind of neat. I don't know. I liked him. He was fun too. Every time like he was in a scene in the book, it was just kind of interesting, like something cute and quirky happened. And then Brody is a really interesting character. The development of his character, like through the thing, was kind of interesting. And it's a really short book too. It's only 280 pages. Not long at all. But when it ended, I instantly was like, I kind of wish I had the next book. Like, it's just really cute. She lives above a Chinese restaurant, and the Chinese couple that owns the restaurant are just a hilarious group of people to have in there. And trying to think of who else there was. I said like 7 characters, right? I don't know, but it's super fun. Oh, Jared, that was the other one I was thinking of. And he's another character that's in there. He's a new student. He's a fairy. Yeah, but he's a fun character too, because he's just he's kind of snarky and no holds barred, and just blunt. And I don't know. I really enjoyed the whole book. I started reading it just because I finished Vanishing Girls and wanted a lighter read. If you have not read Vanishing Girls yet, I mean, I did talk about it already in this, but if you haven't read it yet, like it's a heavy read. Like when it ends, it's one of those books that kind of, your heart's just breaking. So I needed something a little lighter.
So I started reading this one because it's been on my tablet for so long, and it was just so good because I'm so addicted to the fairy tale retellings. I really am. I really, really, really enjoy fairy tales, and I enjoy the fact that people continuously retell them. So they're a little bit different here and there, and like some of them aren't great. Other ones are freaking phenomenal, and this is in like the in between. I really liked it. I thought it was a cute book in general. It's not the best book I've ever read in my life. It's not like that, but it is really good. And it's fun, and I will definitely continue with the series because I really liked it, and I would like to see what else happens with Mina. I also included the book of Magonia this month, and I have a full review for that up already, it's actually my wrap up for day one in Readerama. But that's the only other book I finished in June. So that's what I read this month. It was a pretty good reading month. I definitely read some awesome books. Actually, two of the books I read this month were like the best books I had read in this year. And that was Vanishing Girls and Magonia. Those are like up on high on my list. I really, really enjoyed both of those. That's it for this video. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books this month too. And if you like this video, hit like, subscribe to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Happy reading!